So I want to talk a little bit today about coherence and this device that I'm wearing right here. I have to figure out where it is. So you'll see there's this thing I have clipped to me. It's blinking. And then I've got this thing on my ear. Sorry. I can't deal with the mirror image apparently. Okay, so this is clipped onto my ear. And so what it is that I'm wearing today is called Inner Balance. It's by an organization. It's an organization created it called HeartMath. And if you're not familiar with HeartMath, a lot of people are because they've grown exponentially. And there's a lot of really well-known people associated with them. So if you know about HeartMath, then you know who those people are too. But essentially, what this does is it's a biofeedback type device. There's a lot of those out there. In fact, there's this really funky meditation chair that I just noticed recently coming up in my feed in Facebook. And that meditation chair, you sit in it, it measures all kinds of things and helps you to get into this great state or whatever. But one of the drawbacks to a lot of those biofeedback tools is that one, they aren't as associated with an organization that has a lot of science around it that's been around a long time. And I don't know about the chair I just mentioned. I'm just saying that some of these biofeedback tools don't have that background, and Inner Balance does. They have a lot of science-backed information that you can find out on their website. They've been around for a long time, and they've done a lot of work in that space. And but the other thing, the even more important part for most people is probably that a lot of those biofeedback tools are really expensive. So you can get into the thousands for a lot of things. And Inner Balance is a really affordable biofeedback tool. Why I want to talk about it is what it measures for one. So let's talk about that a little bit. So it's actually measuring coherence. So, we know that coherence is this harmonious state. It's when everything's in our body is working together. All of our, our heart, our, whole nervous system, everything is just in this really harmonious state and working together. And that's our best functioning state, of course. And so what Inner Balance does is it's measuring coherence. It's using your heart rate variability and some other things, I believe, too. We're not going to go into all the science of that. That's something that I would encourage you to actually research a little bit more yourself before you purchase one. But this little tool alone you can use and you can purchase for around $150, I think. I think mine was around $100 when I got it. There's a couple different models, but it is really affordable. So the reason that I'm speaking to you about it is because it's something that can help you to create awareness and in understanding how sound affects you, and sound being anything, music, nature, whatever. But understanding how it affects you, this is one of those tools, because sometimes we don't have great awareness of what is affecting us. We just may be going about our day, or when we're listening to something, we may just not be connected into ourselves. And so the benefit of having something like this is that we can test out if we're trying to really create a peacefulness through sound. We can use this as a tool to maybe play some meditation music or something that's tuned to a certain frequency, or, solfeggio frequencies or whatever. Just whatever we want to use to, see if it affects us in a more positive way. And sometimes we can rely on how did I feel. But sometimes it's a little more tricky to really understand. Even the music we listen to, we don't always understand how that affects us. So I challenge you, if you would be interested in, getting one of these, and you can use these in multiple ways. You can use it during meditation or something as well. But use something like this. Use some kind of biofeedback tool to very simply just understand on a deeper level, how are things really affecting me? So I'm just going to give you a little demonstration here of just how this works. It's very, very simple, actually. It has an app on your phone that it's connected to, so we'll look at that. And as you see, I'm wearing it. It's attached to, attached to the ear. And then you'll see that this is what's happening. So on my phone here, and I'm actually in a really coherent state, so I'm doing something right. It is tracking that heart rate variability and all the different factors to show my coherence. And so if you see that, hopefully you can see it well. But right now it's green. I know the sun's kind of shining. There we go. That's better. Okay, so right now you'll see it's green. It's actually giving me, even though it's kind of hard to see, it's actually giving me some prompts that are saying, and now it's going to blue and it's telling me to refocus on my breathing. Because I'm speaking to you, there's probably a little bit of nervousness that's coming up. When I first started recording, it was actually red, which is, not the best state. It's kind of like your stop. Pay attention. And see what you're doing. So it's actually red right now again, so I'm not in a very coherent state. And now it's going back to blue, so it's showing that I'm getting back into that coherence. It gives you some prompts even to tell you to breathe. So it's going to help you even get to that coherent state. But it's great for just wearing. I've actually just worn it sometimes for even a few hours while I was cooking, talking to somebody or whatever, just to kind of see what happens within me that I might not be aware of. And we really are largely aware of when we're out of that coherence. So this creates that level of awareness that can really give you some feedback, on how your body's responding and maybe some areas where you could be changing what you're doing so that you keep within that coherence level better. Right now I'm in sync. You'll see it's just kind of monitoring where I'm at. And if we're just going to shut this session off. And I'm just going to say I'm pretty happy. Because it's going to have like a diary in here too of, how you can actually look back at the different days and it's going to measure things. So it's actually showing me now my coherence, and it gives us some different graphs. It measures the heart rate variability on here, so I'll just kind of show you what it's showing me. So you can see, and I'll scroll up, and it actually shows that heart rate variability. Sorry, I've got the sun coming in, I know. Here. So the last one on there is the heart rate variability. And then I'll scroll back up a little bit. And then it's showing you those coherence levels across the top. So you've got a low, medium, and high, and that's 61%. So that's how long that I actually stayed within that high coherence, and then I was low 20% and medium 19%. And the goal is to actually increase that over time, of course. So, if you did a session for an hour, the goal would be that you'd be able to maintain coherence for, 80, 90, 100, if that's possible. 61, better than, it's more than half, right? And I didn't do it for very long either. So if I had actually done this for a long period of time, I might have been able to get that number up. Anyways, I just wanted to share this with you today. It's a really simple tool if it's something that you're interested. I know that there are some other tools out there, but this is honestly one of the cheaper ones that I came across, and it's one of those that, like I said, has some pretty solid science behind it, and they're doing some really hard work at HeartMath to create tools like this, and I would encourage you, and just to increase your awareness overall. And maybe you don't need something like a biofeedback tool, but for some of us it's really helpful, and might be something you want to explore, and there you go. So thanks for watching.